And it's a private school. You get what you pay for. My husband and I are both really happy with the way CEFA is run. And Lucas gets that extra care he needs. If he's having a hard day, there's always someone there to make sure he's not having a hard day.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
So we relocated from Kamloops to Vancouver, back to Vancouver, and we were looking for childcare. And a really good friend of mine suggested that we take a look at CEFA in Canada Way. And we did. And the minute I spoke with Leanna, it was like instant connection. She made it really easy, especially during COVID. This was our first time with initial daycare, childcare for Lucas. And it was just, it flowed. It was an easy flow, and it really worked. And she made it really easy overall, especially during COVID. We never got to step in. It was still to this day, we have never seen inside the school. And there was lots of reassurance. So super easy. So the first couple of days, it was a little bit more challenging. His dad works out of town, so it was back and forth. So he had a lot going on. But no, he loves it. He loves going. He wants to go. It's been the best positive change ever. At the start, he was a little bit out of sorts. He was hitting and he was biting. But when he first started, he was in JK1. Now he's in JK2. And the teachers have really helped me get through it. And they've been very supportive. I don't get your kids hitting, your kids biting. They're like, Megan, Lucas bit. We work through it. This is what we did. And this is how we're going to move forward with it. They don't make you feel negative as a parent. They don't make you feel like you're failing as a parent, especially when you're a first-time parent. But no, I had like a breeze. The teachers, when he first started, Miss Sampson and him had a very, very tight bond, a tight relationship. Now that he's getting older, he's too cool for teachers. So he, like when I pick him up now at school, it's like, goodbye, Chloe, goodbye, Daniel, I'll see you tomorrow. So now it's more the friendship. But at the start, it was definitely the teachers. The relationships he's building. He's turning into a really well-rounded human. I'm noticing a lot of change in him, even when we go into like the grocery store or when we're with friends now that COVID's opening up. Lucas, how are you? I'm good, thanks. How are you? He's having those initial conversations. He's starting those initial conversations. And for a child who was unable to really talk until he was 15, 16 months old, his speech is off the hook. And so as a parent, I get a lot of positive feedback, and they tell me how well-rounded he is and how respectful he is. And I mean, granted, we teach him that at home, or we try to install in that at home, but I think a lot of it too is at school, because he really learns everyday manners. And I don't know if you have kids, but they only listen to mom and dad for so long. So yeah, as a mom, I feel that they are really supporting, with manners and how to be a well-rounded little boy in society. And he does that. He does it very well. When a child makes a graduation from one class to the next, if they could send out a letter about the teachers or some sort of get to know the teachers, because I only know the teachers from the names, and I kind of guess it's a guessing game with the teachers. there was no really formal introduction, because when you call down to get Lucas brought up, any teacher could bring him up. You get to know the teachers as it happens, but in his classroom, he's got 3 and 4 teachers, and it would be nice if you could put a picture to the name, if that makes sense. But I mean, honestly, I hate to say this, but CEFA Canada Way is pretty perfect. Lucas has an egg allergy, and they go out of their way for him. I feel they really make an effort to make sure that he is safe, that his body's safe, that his everyday lifestyle is safe, because he's allergic to eggs, pineapple, mango, papaya. Like, he's the kid you don't want in your class, coming from a teacher. And they do an amazing job. I knew what I was in for. I had a really good briefing with Leanna Rasmussen, the principal, and she really walked me through everything and made everything as easy as possible. They strive on the fine arts aspect, and they really do. And even with the whole curriculum is really well done. Lucas is 3 tomorrow, and he can kind of print his name. He can count to 30. He can start adding the math pluses, but I mean, we work on that at home too a lot. And I think the fact that they really treat each child individually. So coming from a teacher, we do one lesson in the classroom, and if you don't get it, you take it home and you work on it. At school, if you don't get it, granted, we do it at school too, but they really sit with them and they really show an interest in the child. It's not just one of 18 kids or 16 kids in the class. It's one of one, and they really take that time to get to know the child and get to know their personal life, and really strive on that. So I think really just getting to know the child individually is really important. And that's what I think they've really done a really good job on it. Oh, immensely. Lucas has changed as a whole different person. When Lucas was born, he had a lot of, problems. We said, he was born dead. They said he wouldn't walk, he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't do anything, he wouldn't be able to count. And he has by far exceeded everything. He is able to do more than what they've ever said he ever would. And I think it does make a difference when he's with educators all day, and being such a positive influence in his life. And he wants to go to school. And I think that really reflects on the teachers and who he's spending his days with, and his peers. He can count 1 to 20 in a heartbeat, and he will sit there and he'll count counters, he'll count Smarties, he'll count cars. And if we don't get to 20, we gotta start all over again. So I think being able just to count and be proud of himself for being able to count, and knowing about himself. He knows his phone number, he knows his full name, he knows that he's almost 3, and he knows his birthday. So getting to know Lucas as a well-rounded human, I think, is a lot falling back on the teachers and himself, because he's learned all that at school. Building self-confidence in your child. They are very positive. Even when Lucas, I find, does something negative, they turn it around and say, how does this make Johnny feel? So making sure that your child has that confidence. The lunches, I shouldn't say that, but the lunches, the fact that CEFA does lunches is a huge, huge thing. And I think overall, the relationship they develop, the way they round themselves into this little human. And that's important, I think. And I think a lot of it bounces back on the way the teachers are, and the way everyday society is with them. They get treated like an individual. They don't get treated as a group. And that's important. Yeah. Because all children are different, and they all need that extra one-on-one, and they give it to them. I was really set up for everything. I did my research on CEFA. I had heard of it. The website is very self-explanatory. And I really just asked the questions and got the answers. And I think that is on CEFA as a whole, because everything was laid out. Yeah, I don't think there would have been anything. As a parent, you do your research. For me, the fees are worth it because it's everything included. I haven't had any negative experiences with CEFA, and I have told a couple people about it. And of course, it goes, oh, well, you're paying $1,600 a month, but I don't think, plus uniforms, but I don't think people understand the fact that lunches are a huge thing. And it's a private school. You get what you pay for. My husband and I are both really happy with the way CEFA is run. And Lucas gets that extra care he needs. If he's having a hard day, there's always someone there to make sure he's not having a hard day. And maybe that kind of falls back on talking to other people if they want to put their children or their families into CEFA. But parents talk, and CEFA is very well known, and it's very well recommended school. And if people can afford it, and if families can afford it during these days, I would tell them to do CEFA over any other center, because of the power it has over a child. Yeah, and I'm happy with it. My kid, I said to Leanna, if you guys want to go to grade 3, let's do it, because I'm here for it.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.